Welcome to the third episode of the VNRVJIET Podcast. I am your host, Rohan, and we have a very dear guest of our own, Damodar Darshan Kolla, who is an alumnus of the college from the Department of Electronics and Instrumentation Engineering. He is an engineer, an entrepreneur, and also a maker, currently working as an engineer at TWorks Foundation, India's largest prototyping center. I firstly welcome Damodar Darshan Kolla onto the podcast.
Hey Rohan, it's great you invited me here. I thank the college and you guys for taking this initiative of conducting podcasts and inviting alumni and other people who are out of VNR. Yeah.
It's our pleasure, Darshan. So I would like to ask you to give a small introduction about yourself for the viewers.
So I'm a 2021 graduate from Electronics and Instrumentation Engineering, and currently I'm working at TWorks Foundation. And prior that, I try to do a lot of things. I would say the moment I came out of college, I wanted to do something different, nothing, not something what everyone was doing. I wanted to experiment. I had the privilege of experimenting, to be very honest. So I tried starting a startup which was incubated in VNRVJIET VJ Hub basically, and after that joined another startup. Then tried to understand what civils is. Then later on joined an NGO, and right now I'm in TWorks as an engineer, as you told, and. Just another point about me is I love engineering. That was one of the reasons why I joined VNR. And college has given me a very different perspective than what I came here for. So, yeah.
Yeah. So most of our viewers are from our college, and other viewers are also from the same background, engineering students listening to the podcast of different colleges. So you are from this college, passed in 2021, a recent graduate. So what is your experience in the college? I mean, how did it mold you as you are right now? What is your experience from the college?
Right. So, college was a place where I personally took the initiative of using it, and that is something a lot of students should, take a charge and use the college. So it gave me an opportunity to do different things, as I told you. So one, of course, I started off with projects right from my first year, and I had the encouragement of our faculty and even my classmates and such. And I also wanted to explore other parts of me rather than only tech. So so I did participate in fests and also organized a lot of fests, both technical, non-technical, entrepreneurial fests and such. And yeah, more or less also I was a part of a lot of clubs. I wouldn't say all, like I'm really bad at singing, dancing and all. But other than that, whatever I got a chance, and I did take a chance of that. So in that perspective, I could, explore a lot of what I am and come out of my comfort zone and such. So that is what I did in college.
So Darshan, you were saying you experimented a lot in your life, right? So yeah, you've been a project coordinator, you've been an engineer, you've joined an NGO, you have done lots of projects. How did VNR VJIT help you to do that?
Okay, so let's just try going a little back from my fourth year to my first year sort of thing. So right after I graduated, I told you that I got incubated here. So I got incubated here because, of course, I pitched my idea to Chenkeshwar Rao sir and Dr. Kiran, and they liked it. And yeah, of course, I got a chance to experiment. That is one of the thing. I got my team here, and I was part of I wouldn't say a chapter. I was part of this cohort called T Tribe, which was from T Hub, and that was through college only. So T Tribe was an association, a cohort which was for different colleges, and VNR was a part of it. So I got a chance to participate in one of their event called Pitch It for Win It, and that is where we won around we won the first prize, and we got a cash prize of 1 lakh rupees. So that motivated us to start this startup, and because we kind of got a customer validation there, people randomly reached out to me telling that this is a problem which is interesting, and I would like to buy a product. Right. So that is when, of course, when you're right out of college and someone gives you that validation, it felt that I should really take that risk. So that is how VNR really helped me to start off. And going a little back, so I was introduced to design thinking and entrepreneurship from VNR, of course. Unfortunately, I didn't have the course, which my juniors are very fortunate to have, the design thinking course. So I happened to just understand design thinking because I was going to T-Hub. I was part of this program called Techno Entrepreneurship Program from ISB. So that is where I got introduced to design thinking. So with respect to this, I did a course along with Dr. Kiran from University of Massachusetts Lowell and IUCEE, where it was more or less it was based on entrepreneurship and design thinking, and it was totally funded by college. I don't remember the exact cost, right, but it was not something a student could afford on his own, and it was a course where a faculty and a student had to be a part of, right, so that the faculty can, because at the end of the day the faculty has to teach a more 100 or 200 students for each batch, right? So when you're doing this, you are doing it for the students. Mm-hmm. So you need to have a student partner. So that was, I guess, the concept of that event and the program. And it was pretty interesting how I could really learn there, and I got introduced to a lot of different topics, different perspectives. We had people from all over India from there. So, and we had foreign professors who taught different things. It was a great perspective on a global level on how people think about entrepreneurship. We have a jugaad way of doing stuff in India, but it's great actually. But how do you kind of regularize it, or let's just say how do you standardize it, is also important, because when you standardize jugaad, you make wonders, I guess. Right. So that was something which happened from VNR. Yeah. Then I was a part of a club called Kaksha Shastra long back. So it was we were a group of people who are enthusiastic about space and astronomy and such. So as a part of that club, we wanted to do some project. So we wanted to do a social impact project. So it was something based on a drone, and we wanted to scan and collect data sets of how algae grew in these ponds and such, and kind of predict it rather than test it every because algae suddenly grows in these ponds, and what happens is there is bad smell, and if it is a pond which has fish and such, it's bad for the fish if a lot of algae grows, and it grows exponentially. So when that is the case, you can't test it daily, and because even the chemical test takes little time, at least a day or two. So let's just say you have this drone system where you scan it for, let's just say, a day with 2-hour interval or something. You will be able to actually predict what is going to be the growth based on the area, based on different parameters, sunlight and all that stuff. So we wanted to do that, and we got easily a grant of 30,000 rupees from college, and it was, I would really say that I was pretty intimidated, because 30,000 for a student suddenly, I mean, it is a big thing. Of course, we had a team, but because I had little experience in building drones previously, I did build drones in the summer break of second year. So that experience, with that experience, they were like, okay, fine, let's just take a chance on this guy. So we took both the components, we tried out. There were, of course, few failures in whatever. I mean, the components got fried and all that. There what I learned was, uh, always buy extra. I mean, you should probably who are making projects, this would be helpful. Don't, if you're using one sensor, don't just buy 2 sensors, buy 3 sensors. It's always helpful. So we went ahead with the project a bit, but it had to stop because of COVID and a few other reasons. As I told you, we burned the components. But that was an amazing opportunity, and even before I graduated, me and my senior, we tried working on it. So in terms of learnings, it was a success. We researched a lot on it's called eutrophication, by the way.
Okay.
So we learned a lot about eutrophication, how do you autonomously run drones and all that stuff. So the team had a good idea. I learned personally a lot on what it is. It is something which actually helped me in my current job, because there was some project based on that, and I could actually add a value to it. So going a little back again, so NSS was something which is really close to my heart even now, and I was part of NSS VNRVJIET, the social club, and there I got exposure to the social angle, and as I told you, I wanted to explore whatever it is, sort of thing. So at least NSS helped me get that social touch, and even now I try to see ways how I can contribute for a social cause, with my expertise probably. So there are 2 ways of doing a social impact. One is you donate, one is you make something, or you contribute to a cause with your expertise. I mean, probably you can actually manage a total social event, and that is still a contribution. So in that way, we also did Sarathi, which actually motivates students, or the whole idea of Sarathi is to do a social impact with your engineering skills, because you are an engineer first, right? So that is something which I got exposure to, and a lot of ideas which I get, and a lot of thoughts which I get are, always have this impact of social thing. I mean, it's always there. And so more or less this support from faculty a lot, because I used to not be in the classes a lot of times, but they were still okay with it, because they trusted me that I could manage both.
Right.
And that is something students should really do. And I mean, of course, we always keep complaining that faculty don't allow, but what have you done to gain their trust? What are you doing not being in the classroom? Are you doing anything much more productive for yourself, for basically yourself, which you can compensate? I mean, if you're whiling away time, good, but is it worth missing a class is something you should ask yourself. So that is something I learned.
We spoke about taking risks at a very early stage, where you're taking risks when you're in BTech or recently graduated. You're talking about design thinking, we're talking about innovation, we're talking about startups. You have done so many projects, social impact projects and stuff. So in case if you could get all the experience together, and you want to give 3 learnings to the viewers, what would be those 3 learnings?
Okay. One I already gave, but that buy more components.
Okay.
But other than that, I would let's just say a learning from my startup is a lot of learnings, to be very honest. But top one would be, just because people are really good doesn't mean that you make a great team.
Right.
So my team, whoever were there, they were basically my friends. Individually, we are amazing. We are amazing. Everyone is doing really well in their own way right now. But as a team, we couldn't really commit to this long process of what it takes to build a startup. So the vision has to be very clear for all the members. and if the vision doesn't match, you've got to be hard on it. You cannot ever be like, it's okay, this guy is going to be helpful or this lady is going to be helpful, but because the founding team has to be on the same page, or you should really have a clarity on what the other guy is going to do, and that is really important. And to be very honest, right now, when I see my juniors, they have much more clarity when it comes to entrepreneurship as well. Of course, because of the boom and Shark Tank and all that thing. And that time it was still growing. I mean, there was of course this thing for startup, but not this much. And I'm sure anyone who tries to go on through this journey would understand a lot of things. So that probably would be one learning. Second would be, you've got to do projects and you've got to do interdisciplinary projects. And this was a mistake. This was a mistake I did, and I'm okay with telling my mistakes, because you should learn from others' mistakes. That is something I really believe in. So for a very long time, I tried to restrict myself to electronics, and I didn't want to even be a part of anything else. I avoided coding, I avoided machine learning, I avoided mechanical structures and anything. And when you call yourself an engineer, you can't say that I'll only do this, because engineering works out when everything actually comes together, and there's no project which is only done by an electronics engineer. Your board which is being assembled is probably done by a totally mechanically controlled machine. So how can you say that you can be only an electronics engineer? I mean, you've got to understand and see how you can contribute to a project being an electronics engineer, or being a mechanical engineer, or being someone who is into machine learning and such. If you don't have an understanding of how electronics work, let's just say you are a machine learning, you do machine learning and AI, and you don't have a clarity on where your algorithm can run efficiently, or how do I deploy it on a remote area. That would be an issue. You would probably run it on your system always, but how is it getting really implemented? So this is something which I would really encourage students to do, that just do projects. And something what always happens in our colleges, you've got to do a project which has a social impact, which has something which is related to society, big thing. But dude, what I would genuinely say is just do it for fun. Just do a project for fun. Just make some project which can throw a ball into the basketball hoop. Why not? You should see Robocon and such. They give simple, stupid problem statements, but you build it, man. It's very hard. You should take in challenges, and when you actually start loving engineering, or start building code, or start writing an algorithm, that is when you will see the actual magic of engineering. Or else, if you try to force the concept of making an impact or something, where is engineering? That's good. I wouldn't say that innovation is bad, but your core competencies of really building something is something which lacks in a lot of us. We've really got to explore that side, where we are going deep into some project, really deep into it. And third thing is something which is another learning and a mistake of mine. Don't be scared. Don't be scared to experiment, and don't be scared to ask. Don't be scared to do anything, because when you do all this, and when you be scared, or when you don't ask, you won't get anything. And for a very long time, and when I was telling the utero quad, I was pretty scared to really just burn anything also, because what happens is, I had a fear that I took so much money from college, what happens? The whole point of college giving money is to build, I mean, it is teaching, it is a place where you learn, and it is a place where even the college, I think it thinks that it wants to help you become a better person. So when that is the case, you've got to take that opportunity to become a better person in terms of whatever you're doing. So yeah, that is the three top things.
I would be rating more with the third thing. One thing, if I learned something I learned in my 4 years of engineering, or the still 6 months left, but yeah, in this 4 years is that be shameless. Go ask people. In case you don't know something, yeah, go ask them. And adding to that, this was my mistake too, and I've seen a lot of people do the same mistake, that they reject themselves rather than going asking and getting rejected. Yeah, so in case if you want to do something, and if you think you are not capable, or maybe the answer would be a no, just go and ask. Let them say no. Why should I say no to myself? Yeah, so that would be, I would be relating more with the third learning of yours. Spoken about engineering life at VNRVJIET. And you've also been incubated at VJ Hub with a startup just after you graduated, Segritech, right? So what was your experience with your startup and VJ Hub?
So a small clarification, Segritech was the second startup.
Oh, okay.
First was something which I started, and it was, we didn't of course register and all, but we were calling it a little hard to pronounce, but Gnya, Empathetic.
Empathetic, okay. What was it about?
We were interested in making a medical device for knee injuries, specifically ACL and PCL tears.
Okay.
And we wanted it to be, it was a niche segment basically. So we wanted it be a smart knee brace with a lot of different modules which could go ahead with it, because according to our research, there are different braces for post-op, pre-op, and a lot of things, a lot of variations for one surgery. I mean, we started off with the tech initially, to be very honest. But normally when you're starting a startup, you've got to start with what the customers think. But anyway, so we started off with that and slowly understood that we should try understanding what are the pain points of stakeholders. Stakeholders include the patients, include the physiotherapists, include the doctors, include also the manufacturers, the supply chain, everyone. So we did a lot of research. We spoke to a lot of people. So that was something which, based on that, we were iterating our features and what has to be there, what has to be the design, what can be the weight, what can be the size, how can it be used, what are the electronics which go into it, what should be the minimal features which are literally not there now. We call something called as, there is something called as a latent need. So latent need is, people don't know that that's a problem, but that is a problem. And okay, I probably wouldn't say our research, but there were few nice pain points which we got. So in that way, connecting with different stakeholders was where VG Hub helped us. I mean, through VG Hub we could connect to few hospitals, few physiotherapists, and few doctors who could really give us a different perspective than from an engineering standpoint, because you're doing it, right now you're not doing an engineering product, you're doing a product. So that was something which was really helpful. And next, as I told you, it didn't work work out because of various reasons. We just stepped into product development. I mean, the the product, but we had to call it off because, I mean, a lot of reasons. At least my personal reason was I felt I didn't have the technical competencies to really build this. Right now, if you ask me if I can build it, yes, I can, because of course 2 years of experience in building different things. I did get a perspective of how I can do it, and TWorks has of course helped me a lot in getting that perspective. So Yeah, that was Gnya Empathetic, and like you mentioned about Segritech.
right.
So at the point where we almost closed it, I was again jobless, literally, not knowing what to do, sort of thing. And that is when I was just messaging people on LinkedIn. I was just checking out profiles. Uh, I was pretty clueless what to do, to be very honest. I was very open on anything. At the same time, it's not easy for it was not very easy for me to suddenly stop something which you know start I mean stop something which you started start and you have this social pressure, and I did take a lot of social pressure because all of your friends were chill because they did get a job, or they were chill because they have planned for going for their masters, uh, planned I mean yeah I mean so I was the only I mean our team was the only team which was basically out of the blue doing something different. And when that was the case, it was a lot of social pressure. And one of my teammate already had a job, but she was still contributing a lot. In a way, she was chill, I mean settled. But I was the guy who was like, I got 3 job opportunities, I left them taking this sort of thing. And yeah, when you do that, it is a social pressure. You personally take it, parents, everything. Yeah, so that was something which happened when that transition phase, and that is when I got in touch with one person who was a founder of Segritech. Basically, Segritech was into food grading, specifically fruits. The concept was we should be using AI and camera systems to actually detect how the quality of fruit is, rather than actually testing it or doing a lot of damage in the conveyor belt system or something like that. So there it was more like it was pretty new to me. I mean, pretty new in the sense, as I told you, I was only kind of into electronics sort of thing. Here, I literally started off with trying to manage the mechanical system, because once the mechanical system is built, then that is when electronics enter. So I was trying to understand what the requirement is, try to make see that a design is made, the concept I was trying to come up with. So here, is again where design thing kind of helped me. So it didn't go for a very long time, this thing, because of various reasons. Again, the frequency didn't match with the founder, and personally, I think it was not bad on his decision to end this, because uh, it has to go fast, and when you have a technical guy who is not having a lot of experience, it'll go slow. But it has to be your team's bet to go slow or go fast on how do you want to scale it up or what do you want to do. So that personally gave me a perspective that how much I should learn to really be a technical co-founder or be a tech guy in a startup. For him, probably it was a realization that he should invest in someone or something who is really sound in tech already, rather than looking out for a fresher with limited experience and such. Um, I wouldn't say, I mean, at the same time, I'm telling a fresher, there are people who, right from their 11th grade, are doing amazing projects, and by the way, by the time they graduate, they're already having great experience. Or there are people who have started off working in, I do know people who have started off working in their second year part time in technical fields, and they are doing amazing right after they graduate. So couldn't say that, but still, experience is experience. Technical knowledge, hardware is something you've got to do. That is when you get experience.
So you've done your startup, you've built a product, not just from the engineering standpoint.
Try to build a product.
You tried to build a product. You joined a different startup where that guy, as you mentioned, wanted a tech guy, as you were at that time. And later on, you stuck to your passion again with engineering and electronics. You got into TWorks, India's largest prototyping center. So How did you get into TWorks? What was your motivation to get into TWorks?
Pretty interesting thing. So I came across TWorks around my third year. I tried applying for an internship, didn't get in, but sometimes you just feel that this is the place you've got to be there. So to be very honest, VNR was also a place where I felt, yeah, this is my college the moment I entered it, because I went to BITS, I went to some other random colleges, I didn't get that vibe. Moment I entered VNR, even though it was not finalized, I felt, yeah, maybe this is my college. I'll get into this only. So similarly, TWorks was something which I felt, yeah. So when TWorks opened its fellowship, so TWorks rolls out a fellowship, 1-year fellowship for for makers or engineers who want to make stuff. So it rolled out, and at that point of time I was trying to apply for technical fellowships, I mean in IITs or any other institutes and such. So I came across TWorks. Of course I was always checking out TWorks because I wanted to see if I can apply. So it demanded an experience of 2 years, but to be honest, I'm literally a fresh graduate. But yeah, that gut feeling was there that I mean it'll come. So I applied. Then I was waiting for the call. It was not like I was doubtful that I'll get a call. I got the call. Then interviews happened, different rounds of interviews, or I think I had like 3 rounds of interviews. And after that they were like, you're not good enough for a fellowship. Like, they were okay. Like, okay, I mean, what is the conclusion?
In here, I wanted to ask, when they said that, what was the first thought? Not good enough. You have done startups, you have worked with so many projects. What was your thinking? What was your thought that time?
Yeah. So, to be very honest, I was very humble that I have very less experience. But the moment the HR told that, of course, I was disappointed. The moment they told, then the moment he started off with this, that you are not fit for the fellowship. But at the same time, they're like, we'll try considering you because you are interested, you have experience in doing this. But we'll get back to you. So, yeah, I mean, I was waiting for it. In the next 1 week, they told they'll take me as a graduate trainee. And I think that was something which just started, literally just started graduate trainee thing. And I got in through like that. So in that year, around 4 or 5 people got into TWorks from the fellowship. Of course, I mean, I was not a fellow, but I got in through the fellowship. So that is how I got into TWorks.
Yeah, you were mentioning TWorks, your startups, and there was also something that you did. You were project coordinator at Inquilabs.
Yeah, this is another interesting thing where you work with a company, intern with a company, and they call back, sort of thing. So after Segritech, I was again in the phase of exploring, and after 2 hits, I was literally in a state where I was okay with not even doing engineering. I was like, I'll just do anything. I just want to explore, and because I was kind of literally doing management sort of thing with less tech in it. I was also tried exploring what if I took up civils, sort of thing. So first priority was IES, engineering services. But of course, I also tried to understand what IEAS and all that is, and of course, I had no clue about how the structure is. Everyone says it's a hard exam, but I didn't personally know. So it took around 1.5 months to figure out that this is not for me. I did extensive research on how do I prepare, where do I prepare, what is going to be the job role, what should I be doing for it, what skills I already have, what skills I think is required, and I would still be okay with it, or would I still be not okay with doing tech or whatever. So those were all the questions which were running in my head. So I was literally not okay with doing tech, and I gained a lot of respect for administrative services, because when you only and I'm sure, I mean, I didn't go deep, but I understood that services is really great. I mean, that's something worth respect. So at that point of time, I reached out to this NGO called Inquilab Foundation, that asking them, is there anything, are you looking for people? I just got in touch with them. They're like, yeah, well, just come down, let's just talk. So they were like, this is the requirement, and we are going to have another project coming up in the next 2 months. So probably we'll be doing that as well.
Okay.
So I'm like, TK, let's just take it up. Let's see how it goes. In that meanwhile, rather than literally being in the house, it was better going to some place, doing some work at the same time, exploring and applying for these other technical fellowships. So there, the moment I came, they were like, yeah, you take care of this project, sort of thing. I'm like, how do you expect me to? I mean, that was my first reaction. But anyway, so it was I would say um a program. It was a program which was a CSR of IBM, if I'm not wrong. Okay, let's just say it was a program for government schools and such, where the core idea of Inquilab Foundation is to teach prototyping and design thinking to students. So this was for another corporate CSR sort of thing, where they had a collaboration with different schools, and they wanted Inquilab to do all the on ground teaching and all that stuff. So I took care of that project along with other colleagues there, and I did go to Karnataka, I did go to Orissa. I online I interacted with students of Assam. It was a different experience, where I went and taught design thinking, prototyping to kids of age groups from 7th to 10th grade, sort of thing, where you had to really empathize and understand what the kid understands, and you've got to make them do it. You've got to make it fun. You've got to make them understand the essence of making some stuff and such. So why you should prototype, or why you should really innovate, why you should think of problems around you, why solving something like that is really important for you and the society as well. So that was a balance of all of these. So I was kind of managing the travel, I was managing the little content which has to go, I was managing delivering it and all that. So I think at least uh, at least 300 to 400 students was what I kind of came across during that period.
So you're mentioning you've met people in class 12, 10, 11, these guys who are actually doing projects of above their level, and also you've spoken to and taught to many people, many children around different states of India. And from Inquilabs, you are teaching design thinking, prototyping, and you use the word empathy over there. How could you actually teach them empathy, such complex topic, to maybe a 7th grader or 8th grader who can understand sympathy but not empathy? How could you actually teach them? I mean, how did you teach that to them?
First step, I guess, was to empathize with them first, because we are very privileged to be in a city with a lot of things which are literally a snap away. Now it's like 10 minutes away, and you're just sitting in your house, and you are in a very comfortable zone, and it's not the same for everyone. I'm not telling they are unhappy. I'm telling it's different, the way they operate, and way very remote villages are or something. So when that is the case, you got to first come out of what you are, empathy is basically you trying to be in someone else's shoes, right?
Right.
So you try to understand what they are and what would they understand or what would they want to solve. I mean, when you tell a kid from a rural background that you've got to solve something, their whole, I mean, I wouldn't say whole life, but most of the time is going for their survival state only. I mean, they are trying to innovation is a privilege. I think so. So they are trying to make money or do work hard for themselves to survive. So how would a kid, when I go say you have to innovate, why would he want to do it, was like one of the questions which came across me. And see, I mean, I don't exactly remember what I pitched them or what I told them, but this was the intent. I mean, what I always feel is when you set your intent properly, right, the words flow. So, and your actions flow. And so I think more or less I told them, why it is, how it would still help them in their survival, because when you actually help your society in a way, you're increasing your chances of survival, sort of thing. I mean, you're easing the pain or easing the way you work, and sort. So I think this student of an urban area wouldn't really understand. I wouldn't say understand, catch. He wouldn't vibe with it. So he or she would need another explanation of why they should innovate. Yeah. So yeah.
Coming back to engineering, you were a part of a makeathon, a 72-hour straight makeathon, where you guys made a Irani Chai vending machine at TWorks. So, what was it all about? Why Irani Chai vending machine, firstly? And how was your experience? And for sure, for making a machine like that, you guys gotta need every engineering stream, every engineer to sit there, work, collude and work with everyone, right? And you made one single product out of 72 hours. So how was your experience? And why Irani Chai machine? I wanted to know that.
Interesting. I think you did your research pretty well. So our CEO Sujay wanted to conduct this thing called 72-hour hackathon for internal thing, just to show. I mean, I wouldn't say just to show, but show that TWorks can prototype in a small time, and this is the capability of TWorks, because prototyping has to go fast. I mean, software prototyping is fast because you do something, run it, it goes bad, you delete something, you add something. But in terms of hardware, you make something, you make the whole thing and it doesn't fit, it's gone. And like whole time, effort, money, everything goes to scratch. You can't even mold it and put it back. It's pretty hard. So we wanted to do something like that. So it started off with brainstorming on what we can do, what will be nice, what would be good. Lot of ideas again, and we wanted to do kinetic art. We wanted to do, doing kinetic art was like kind of always on the top level priority, I guess. But at the ending, when we were just thinking on how everyone can contribute to this, how every person in TWorks can contribute. Let's just say we have a finance team. There is an kinetic art which is happening. Kinetic art has a lot of engineering, but how are they going to, do it? I personally don't see a way they can do it. So, in that regard, we were thinking, let's make a product which is useful. And while that brainstorming, let's just say chai machine. Okay, but you already have a coffee machine, chai machine. What is the difference? Then we were like, what can we do which is close to Hyderabad or close to Telangana, because we are classic Hyderabadi. So we were thinking, acha, Irani Chai. Then like, okay, we'll do Irani Chai. Then we started off brainstorming. So for 72 hours, we had to, of course, do brainstorming. It was not like we decided what to do in 72 hours, made it. It is not possible. We did the engineering in 72 hours. For mechanical guys, it was a nightmare to reiterate the whole thing. And for me personally, there was a lot of change in electronics. Now the way it works is different. So I was telling about how do we involve the non-tech team, right? So now there is a recipe which has to be made. I mean, a recipe which can be automated. You've got to do experimenting in such a way that an engineer can replicate it. So you've got to literally analyze parameters like temperature, boiling, all different things, so that I can use that data and control my equipment. So an Irani chai is fairly complex, than a regular tea, because you've got to boil your decoction separately, your milk separately for around 40 minutes, and then you would get your tea. So the whole prototyping was done by us. Everyone, literally, we were locked in the building. We were like, the whole concept was lock us in the building and we'll do it. So it was pretty much fun doing that. And coming back to how college helped me, there is a controller called PLCs, programmable logical controllers, and that is something which comes in the core of instrumentation engineering under automation. So I was introduced to PLCs at VNR, and I had a understanding of PLCs here. I knew what PLCs were. So because I knew that, we went ahead with PLCs during the Chiminar rather than going with some other controller which was easy to prototype and such. So that was really a time when I felt, damn, I'm glad I took instrumentation. Of course, I was glad at a lot of times, a lot of points, but that was really a point where I actually felt happy. And basically, your system, you had temperature sensors, we had capacitive level sensor and all that stuff, which is again instrumentation, again in a way basically automation and such at an industry level. So it was pretty interesting on how instrumentation helped me to do my job there. I don't know, fortunately or unfortunately, our team was small, but so I had to take the lead for electronics. So in terms of that also, it was pretty good. I mean, I had to take care of programming the PLC, as well as see that other operations of the electronics was going well, and also electronics was properly getting integrated with the other teams. So I was the point of contact, and it was pretty interesting, and I'm pretty glad that I could be a part of it.
So we had a lot of discussions about career, tech stuff, see startups, everything related to studies and career, right? So you're an alumnus of the college. So there are so many events happening in our college all the time. Fests, events, hackathons and everything. So which event or fest that you like the most, firstly?
Ekficho is really close to my heart. So I was part of Ekficho. I mean, part in the sense I helped organize Ekficho 2.0, 3.0, and during 3.0, I remember staying back in college. It was amazing. We were putting posters and brainstorming and doing a lot of work. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty nice. It was really good staying back in college. That is a experience of one of a kind. I mean, crazy experience.
Right. Scintillations is one of the biggest fest in Hyderabad, right? Compared to any other engineering college. So what was your feel? What was your vibes when you were first coming into Scintillations your first year? How was your whole mood? How are you feeling with the friends and all? What was that experience?
People would call me stupid for this. First year, I didn't go because I wanted to prove myself that I was studying, or I was like a stupid guy. I didn't go to the fest when all of my friends went. And second year, when I wanted to go, it got cancelled. Third year, COVID. And fourth year, we didn't really have scintillations, but it was called a cultural fest sort of thing. It was not as huge as scintillations. That I kind of enjoyed. We didn't have a DJ and such for that time, but we had some people singing, and of course Crescendo was singing, of course, as well. So in that way, that was my cultural experience in college. But no one should be like me. I mean, trust me, no one should be
No
like
one
me.
should be like him.
Yeah.
A great conversation. So many learnings about your life. So many advices that you gave. So I would like to conclude the podcast with one last question. For aspiring engineers and innovators who want to build a career out of electronics and instrumentation from VNRVJIET, what are the advices that you want to give them?
So I would start off with a basic advice for every engineering student.
Right.
చేయండి ప్రాజెక్టులు చేయండి. Just do projects. I mean, you can have fun.
Okay.
Have fun, do projects is what I would say. Electronics engineering, don't do only instrumentation.
Okay.
Don't stick to instrumentation. You see how instrumentation can be used and help other fields.
Right.
Apply instrumentation everywhere. That's how you learn, gain a lot of exposure, and instrumentation is something which is in a lot of places. And one advice: don't avoid coding. Don't be a stupid guy like me. Learn machine learning.
Right.
And AI, because they're going to be like ABC, like C was there for me long back.
Okay.
Have fun.
Have fun, guys. So that's it for today. Thank you, Darshan, for joining us today for the podcast.
Thanks a lot, Rohan, and the whole social media club for inviting me here. It has been my pleasure to be here, and I'm really glad that you guys are taking this initiative to do something like this, add color to college. I'm pretty good, pretty nice. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's it for the third podcast. We'll be back soon with another podcast. This is Rohan signing off from Social Media Club. Thank you.